Is this gonna work? It's kind of a cool shot. Actually, it's incredibly shitty outside. So, we're gonna raise this a bit. Buddhas, hello. Welcome back. We've got a lot going on right now, but I want to take a moment to talk about perspective. This is everything. Right now, what I'm about to tell you. Scrap everything you think you know about anything. Listen up for a second. This book, which shall remain unnamed for Aaron Dowdy reasons, is fantastic. Read it, but you know, it's thick. It's a textbook. It's a Russian textbook on how to create reality. And I'm reading it right now because I've read it before and I'm reading it again. And the first few pages of this book is the rustle of the morning stars. And I'm not going to read anything from it because I have heard so much interesting things about the copyright of this IP. But the first 2 pages are the author describing, which I'm going to assume is a real experience of his, waking up and having a shitty fucking day from second 0. Hi, we have a guest. We have a guest star. Hello, Mr. Butterscotch. Say hello to the world. No? Hello? No, we're working on it. Communication skills between the two of us, spectacular. When I try to involve others, it gets a little ishy, but you know, one thing at a time. He wakes up to an unpleasant morning. And the first 2 days are him describing how he woke up, that he was missing some things, and he's going for a walk on a wet, rainy morning. And this is in Russia somewhere, so I'm just imagining like the most terrible backcountry kind of just, why would you even want to live there? But this is a book all about creating your own reality. And Buddhas, hello. The most important thing is exactly what I am sitting in right now, and I'm going to show you. Hopefully this works. This is the day that I am having. It is currently raining. It's about like 18 to 20 degrees. That's the sky where I normally watch my sunsets and go for walks. It is depressing as all hell. But that made me thought, hey, I'd like to take my spot back. Oh, that made me think. Buddhas, why am I not feeling the same way that Zealand feels? I do not feel depressed. I do not feel upset because I can't go for a walk. And let's put this in perspective here. All summer, I have pretty much gone for walks and taken photographs and just had the most incredible times listening to podcasts, listening to Neville Goddard, listening to Brian Scott's work, listening to reality transurfing, listening to, oh God, I could name so many things, which I can't do right now because it's shitty out. But I don't mean that I think I'm in a bad mood because it's shitty out. No. See, that's what actually makes me glow right now, Buddhas. I am glowing. You can see it all in the bokeh on this lens. I'm so happy. The absolute greatest realization that I'm having just moments ago, literally moments. That's what these videos are going to be, by the way. They're going to be spontaneous AF. I'm tired of trying to structure this. I'm having a moment where I'm reading this piece of literature from the man who created a system that I believe that I've already started to make work and is turning out to be the most incredible experience in the universe and the most pleasant, happy experience. Starts his book with the most miserable description of life. Now, no, he's not in a jail cell, in a gulag, being tortured every day in the Middle Ages. No, we are past that as a society as a whole. But he is alone. He is walking through a dreary day. He's complaining about addictions, and the perspective is something that I can relate to, but not the mentality. And I think that's kind of what he's trying to explain here. When you read something through, you actually discover the journey of the author. And that's part of what the Buddha Billionaire is bringing here, is that we're going through this journey. Objectively speaking, I'm sitting at home by myself with my cat talking to a camera. that can be interpreted in a lot of different ways. And there's a part of me that just wants to cry out and say how lonely I am and how I wish things were different and that they would change. But Buddha's, I'm trying to be raw, and honestly, that doesn't bother me anymore. I actually feel like laughing at the guy who just complained about being by himself. Because I'm at a point now where I'm ready to take responsibility for my life. I think that matters, Buddhas. I think that's important. You don't have to agree. That's part of the shtick here. I'm not trying to tell you how to agree. Here's a perspective on my life situation right now. Maybe you can relate. And that'll be the best thing that I can give to the universe. It's just my fucking opinion, because I'm damn good at it. I am so good at it. I've known that my entire life. I've just been quiet because there were instances where I experienced negative reactions to voicing opinions. And in doing so, I trained myself to hold myself back, to not poke those around me, and the world got duller and duller and duller and duller and boring. And Buddha's, you're talking to a man who spent 3 years working in an incredibly intensely, brightly lit, loud metal box full of angry foreigners and entitled Karens and unreasonable expectations from my employment. For he who shall not be named. You guys know what I'm talking about, and those who don't worry about it. And I was in a world where I could never keep up. I realized it was fruitless, no matter what the requirement was from management in my position, and I've had several different positions and several different management teams. No matter what the request was from them, I met it, became the highest performing metric in the store, and then they would change it constantly. And I say that not with hatred, but with just pure and utter reality glasses on. That was what I was living. But I don't blame them for it, because it's what they were living as well. And I don't blame anyone for it at all, period, because it's what we all go through. And then I left that environment, and I was suddenly in a very quiet, padded, unionized, out the wazoo, go away Siri, environment of complete and utter apathy to most things, yet filled with so many good, well-meaning, hard-working people. And it was a culture shock. Holy, I had gone from being a lifeguard to the metal box, really, like, as far as long-term things go. There were other things that I did, but from lifeguarding to metal box to padded cell, almost. It was an interesting transition, and we'll talk about the lifeguarding at some other point, but it's really just the two extremes. The lifeguarding kind of turned into the metal box, actually. Those I would say would be very similar descriptions. What I'm realizing here, Buddha, is I'm describing my jobs in their physical environment. I'm making them based in reality. It's never the people who you're interacting with's fault. I think that's one of the incredible things that the metal box taught me. And that there's just layers upon layers of people trying to do what they think is right. And if you approach the world from that perspective, and I'm not saying that you have to forgive everybody overnight, but if you approach the world from the perspective that everyone is trying to do what they think is right, then you can start to see it. And you can learn it, you can understand it, and you can live it. And I'm at this point now where I'm 2 years into this journey, give or take, and the man that I was a year ago is not the man that I am now, and the man that I was 2 years ago is not the man that I am now. Or I was even just a second ago when trying to finish that sentence. We're constantly changing. And the speed at which you choose to do that is up to you, but you have to inevitably accept that you will change. And changing mentally can be one of the hardest things. I'm not saying, I'm getting kind of emotional saying this, but I feel happy in it as well. I'm not saying that you have to be okay with everything that's ever happened to you. But can you be okay with your right now? I have gone through a journey where I can say, yes, I am okay with what I am right now. I'm okay. I am enough. I have all of my needs met. I wish I believed it, but I can say it without disbelieving myself now. It's just a little bit of bullshitting, because all the needs I once thought I needed are met, but my needs have expanded. And it's in accepting that those needs expand and accepting that our desires grow as we do, that creates a struggle that I've experienced, where I have a home, I have loving parents, I have a large extended family, I have friends, I have food, I have a well-paying government job, I have a cat, and I live in what would probably be considered by 99% of the world to be in the 1% of luxury. That's probably the same for a lot of people watching my videos. If not, it's a level. It's a stage. It's no better or worse than anything that anyone has. But it's a point of realizing that, like, I have met, and here's where the shame or the guilt piece comes in. I have met all of my needs. Am I now supposed to just not want anymore? Like, that's a serious question, because if I meet a need, am I expected not to have any more needs? It kind of feels that way. You get to a certain bar, I love butterscotch, and then, for some reason, something happened in my world where I believed that it was improper for me to want more and more and more. When you start to get, it's like, okay, cool, what's my next level? Then if you start to actually think, okay, what do I want to buy now? You're like, oh, I'm not worthy, or I don't need that. And then it gets confusing. And that might be the end of our tangent for this evening, but we will continue to do these, and I'll be continuing to post them. And Buddhas, please let me know down in the comments if you have any questions, or if you have any questions about what I've discussed this evening, and I can go into further elaboration the next time it hits me. But this is, again, a continuation of the series. This is going to be not me telling you what to do. That's... fuck that. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But let's talk about thinking. Let's talk about your perspective. And my job, my role, my responsibility is to be stubborn AF that everything is getting better. And this angle that I'm just finding here in the viewfinder is kind of crazy good. It's turning me on. And on that note, Buddhas, we will end it for tonight. Remember, at the end of the day, the absolutely most important thing is to love yourself.